Hello everyone, I'm CoolGuy, welcome back. Season of Arrivals has so far added 3 new perks to our legendary loot pool of weapons. You can find these right now on the pyramid weapons, and as I go on in this video, it's worth bringing up if these are what they're talking about when they say that they're going to be sunsetting certain things, then creating new ways to play opposed to how a lot of players kind of gravitate to the old tried and true Outlaw Kill Clip, Outlaw Rampage, you know the ones. The 3 perks to go over today are Killing Wind, Sympathetic Arsenal, and Unrelenting. I'm very impressed with what you can do with these perks. I've done testing with them, there's going to be more to find out. This is the early stages. I feel very confident in 2 of them, but the other, it's going to need a little bit more looking into. But the other 2 are solid. I got them down, I have a really good understanding of them, and I want to share with you what I found. And as I got a good handle on what these 3 perks are doing, I really wonder what they can be doing on other weapons. Remember though, sometimes perks show up rarely. Take Firing Line, take Eye of the Storm. It's really nice when they show up because otherwise, we have something like Underdog that just appears to roll on every weapon that comes out for whatever reason. Some of these new perks, I want to see on a 140 or 150 hand cannon. I want to see them on a 600 auto, on very specific archetypes, and I just really hope that in the fall expansion, we see these a lot more. First one I want to talk about is Sympathetic Arsenal. Reloading after a final blow also reloads stowed weapons. All of these perks roll on the following new ones: False Promises, that's the auto rifle; Whispering Slab, that's the bow; Hollow Words, the fusion; and then the one from the season pass, the pulse rifle, Cold Denial, that is at rank 45. I have a feeling that that pulse rifle will be meta in a lot of ways. I feel it has a lot of potential. Stay tuned for a future video on that one. So with Sympathetic Arsenal, reloading the weapon that has the perk after a final blow also reloads your stowed weapons. We've had reload nerfs, we've had things in the past for auto reloading get nerfed. Before I get into scenarios here and the use that it has, let's just take a look real quick on the fusion. It can be good, and you could pair this with Feeding Frenzy that's in the other node. That way you get that reload a little bit faster to be able to reload your stowed weapons. So that's okay. This is really what's going on. Whatever's in the background is getting reloaded. After you get the final blow, then you reload. But actually the best one, believe it or not, is the Whispering Slab, the bow. When you reload the bow, all it is that short knocking speed to get the new arrow in. And on the season's artifact, we have enhanced reloading for bows. They only cost 1 energy. This is to greatly increase the knocking speed of arrows. And that's not to be confused with Archer's Tempo, where the draw time decreases after each precision hit. With the bow, with the Sympathetic Arsenal, Archer's Tempo does work well though, and also quick draw. Because with the bow, your energy weapon and your heavy weapon could literally have 1 shot in them. After you get the bow kill and that arrow comes right back up, that's the reload, and everything in the background reloads. The bow really does work best because of how fast it can do this. For something like the AR or the fusion, you want some reload speed, but here's something really interesting. I tried different reload exotics, the Humkar Graphs, the Transversive Steps. When they do their auto reload by doing the action, it doesn't count, but what I did find that does work is actually the Hunter's Marksman dodge. When a weapon has a longer reload, like this fusion, like the AR or that pulse, after a kill, if you marksman dodge, it works. It's reloading everything in the background. It's kind of like Dragon Shadow, but you're not needing to have the exotic on. The only thing I wanted to try was the War Rig on the Titan, but I don't have this perk on the auto rifle to test it, so if you could give that a spin, let us know down in the comment section if that works or not. But now I want to talk about a couple practical scenarios to how to use this perk to make it shine. And currently, for me, it involves the bow, and that might not sit well with some of you. It might take some of you out of your comfort zone, but remember, the bows did receive a 10% damage buff to miners, which is perfect for what we want to use it for. Say you're in a fire team or you're out doing the events, you could be using something like Divinity and have on a spike nade launcher or a sword as your heavy. All the red bars, all the lower tier adds, you're using the bow on them, and for everything else, you're gonna be using the Divinity. You're gonna be adding in your sword damage or the nade launcher damage when you can. It works really well. There's a huge benefit because you never have to reload that nade launcher or the Divinity. The only thing that's reloading is that arrow going right back into the bow. So for all the champions and majors, you could be doing that constant Divinity damage, helping your team out, and even when adds rush you, you just switch to your bow, take one out real quick, and when you do that, you've auto reloaded everything in the background. But remember, you can't do a quick auto switch. The arrow has to go back on the bow. If you do it too quick, it's not gonna reload the background. You have to kind of wait for it to reload on the bow. Or let's take something like Ariana's Vow with the bow. It has a painfully slow reload. One of the slowest reloads in the game. Say you want it for anti-barrier. And Ariana's Vow is kind of an odd case because it does have auto loading for the catalyst, but say you want something to go down really fast and you don't have the catalyst. So you can take your shots, you can shoot your nade launcher shots, whatever it is, you can switch to the bow, down the red bar, and get it right back. This is one of those perks too, to say that if you have a shotgun, a fusion, a sniper as your other weapon in the Crucible, you can get a kill with the weapon that has this perk, and all the bricks that you've been picking up over time, they're just gonna be reloaded in the background. There's a lot of potential for it. Instead of stopping for a reload on each one, especially with the bow, you're just stopping to deal a tad bit more damage on a red bar. Not bad at all. Next perk, Unrelenting. Rapidly defeating targets triggers health regeneration. Guardians and powerful combatants count as more than one kill. First of all, it appears to be a little bit more than that. Not only does it start health regeneration, and I tried different recoveries. It doesn't matter if you're low recovery or high. It doesn't matter if you're in red health or if you have half health. This perk procs. But not only does it start the regen, but it also looks to give an actual boost to your health, like a chunk. Think Worm Husk. Think original Worm Husk. But here's how this perk works. It works off of a point system. You need 3 points. In PvE, red bars are worth 1 point, majors are worth 2 points, ultras and bosses are worth 3 points. So when you're playing and using this perk, you need to make 3 points. You need to kill 3 adds, the red bars for the perk to proc. If you down a major, you would need also a red bar. You then get that health bump, you then get the recovery. If you down an ultra or a boss, it starts immediately. This perk feels really good in PvE, especially when you're counting, knowing what you need for it to proc. I was just in regular activities and you kind of feel unstoppable at points. It's very fun to use. This type of health regeneration was reserved for something like a Worm Husk or a Crimson, but now it's rolling on legendary weapons. Main thing is just to keep in mind, pay attention to the point system of what you need for it to proc. In the Crucible, it appears that a Guardian is worth 2 points, and again, you need 3. So you would need to down 1, and then after you down the second, you will get the perk to proc. It could come in really clutch, honestly. Again, I would much rather have this than a ton of other perks that can roll on a weapon for PvE and PvP. All those times, I'm gonna bring up Underdog, that you get Underdog or something that just really doesn't quite fit the role that you're going for or for the weapon that you're using, I 100% would take this. I could imagine this on a meta weapon, a 150 hand cannon, a 600 AR, you know the ones. And again, I'm gonna be looking for this on Cold Denial, that high impact pulse later in the season. And the last perk is Killing Wind. I can't tell you how happy I am with this perk. It's impressive. From initial test, I believe it's top tier. Now this is the one that could get a separate video later in depth, but now it's just gonna be observations, things that I found. It states final blows grant increased mobility, weapon range, and handling for a short duration. The duration is 5 seconds, but it's chainable. Think Swashbuckler, think Rampage. And also in some tests, multi-kills made the duration go to 8 seconds, sometimes 10. But the only thing to really consider, the only thing that really matters is that as long as you're downing enemies and that perk is on the screen, you're getting the benefits. I view this as Battle Runner 2.0. Battle Runner was a Destiny 1 perk that stated, kills with this weapon grant a brief boost to sprint's top speed. It was a movement perk. Now in Destiny 2, it works differently. Mobility is your movement speed and your max jump height. After you get a kill, your mobility goes up. Now first impressions is that it doesn't appear to go past max mobility, and it seems to grant, at least to me initially, about 5 to the mobility stat. So if you're running like 4 or 5, it's gonna feel like you have max mobility when it's active. And I kind of came to that conclusion because I was running 1 and 2 mobility. I wasn't going as fast, so it gives a bump to the mobility stat. But after you get that kill and you start strafing, your movement speed, you feel fast. It feels great. But this movement though, it's coupled and combined with the other things. It also grants handling. It helps with the stow speed a bit, but there's a huge upside with the aim down sight speed that you're getting. So I imagine this perk on a hand cannon, the new pulse, a sniper, other weapons, maybe in the future, because as long as you're getting kills, you're feeling very snappy. Strafing left and right, aiming down sights fast, you just feel fast. Kind of like Dragon Shadow, kind of like Mida a little bit. But this last part though, you get increased weapon range. This is the big one, and this is another interesting thing. First, let's talk about the range that it's giving in meters, like just in game from the outside looking in. This is a good thing, but something bigger is happening. My False Promises AR has 83 range. It hits max damage at 38 meters. These high impact ARs hit a pretty long way. With Killing Wind up, that 36 damage, the max damage that it does, extends to 41 meters. So you're gaining 4 meters of drop off. Range is more than drop off. We're gonna get into that in a moment. But if I add full bore, my range stat goes to 97. Where it started at 38 meters before, my damage drop off now starts at 41 meters. But with the perk active, it only goes to 43. It adds on 2 meters. So to me, it appears to work off of a percentage, and probably other weapons as well, if it ever rolls on other ones. It's gonna be to their engagement range, their intended engagement distance. I'm really interested to see how it would work on other weapons. But when we talk about range, there's a lot that goes into that. Accuracy, bloom, aim assist, and when range is talked about, those things are as well, the different sections of the range stat. I'm gonna spare you the hardcore cone talk, but I noticed it in Hipfire here. When the perk is up on the screen, the accuracy cone is really tight. It's tightened. And when the perk goes away, it blooms back out. This reminds me of Firmly Planted. It reminds me of Eye of the Storm, accuracy perks. because with the Eye of the Storm, when in critical health, you get improved accuracy. So when you're firing a regular hand cannon, this Austringer here, that X, that's the accuracy cone, it's blooming out past the aim assist cone. And when you're in critical health and Eye of the Storm is active, it constricts that X, it tightens it in, and it's reducing your bloom. On this auto rifle with this perk, when you have Killing Wind, I would assume other weapons as well, it looks like it's doing a version of that and reducing the bloom, making it really tight, really accurate. It's almost like with the range that it gives, the accuracy that it gives, to me, it aligns with another perk. This is kind of like a sustained version of Opening Shot. That's kind of how I'm thinking of it initially, because when you have this perk going collectively, all those benefits together, you're snappy with the aim down sight speed, you have a snappy quick strafe, the added range, the added accuracy, it feels very sticky and lethal. And it pairs well with the other perk, Unrelenting. It's a really good overall shooting experience, even in the Crucible. Because with Unrelenting, I need a couple kills to get the health regen. That second person, I can feel that strafe coming into play, messing them up. And when I get that second kill, I get that health chunk and recovery. It's really, really good. Now, all the perks I went over today, especially Killing Wind and Unrelenting, look for that on that pulse rifle that's coming. The high impact pulse has got a buff. More players are going to catch on to how good they are pretty soon, especially when that pulse is in more players' hands. I will be looking for a cold denial with Killing Wind and Unrelenting. I can't wait to try it. If you're looking for a new controller, I am partnered with Scuff Gaming. There's a link down below, and you can use my code COOL at checkout for a discount. What do you think of these perks? Are you finding success with them? And on what weapons? Also, what other weapons would you like to see these perks rolled on? Let's talk about it down below. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.